So the app layer is going live, which means the contracts are getting enabled, which means I think we'll see the imminent rollout of new features on THORChain. And some of those big ticket items are things like perps, indices, and so like various index products, and then order books and other features like that. So I think, my prediction is that this is like a DeFi moment for THORChain. So I'm really fascinated with this idea that THORChain is in this moment of kind of at this stepping off point where Ethereum was a handful of years ago, when tokenization became a thing. So token contracts essentially started coming out, and then people started cloning them, coming up with different token ideas. And we kind of saw this explosion of innovation on Ethereum. We saw a lot of different applications come out, of all kinds, and really thousands of developers stepping up and getting involved in the ecosystem to build stuff. And what you really need is, you only really need a handful of really successful applications being built on an app layer for that app layer to absolutely explode, because people will clone the ones that are successful. And obviously all this stuff is open source. So they'll clone the ones that are successful. They'll also have their own ideas, and they'll kind of use the previous things to come up with new ideas. And then people will clone those ideas, and you create like this exponential innovation that happens. And I truly believe that THORChain is at this stepping off point where this exponential innovation is about to take place. And prior to this app layer going live, you couldn't do like smart contracts on THORChain. And with the app layer now, you can build contracts and deploy them on THORChain, which means that a whole new world of optionality is being added that wasn't there before. So, I think there's so many products that have been already envisioned, and people are talking about, things like perps and other features like that. But there's so many things that people have not even discussed or thought of yet. And I think, again, like I said, you have a few big ticket successes, and then suddenly you're going to see an explosion of teams that want to build here, because there's a lot of economic value that can be captured. So that economic value ultimately attracts builders, it attracts devs, it attracts people that want to use these applications. So we've seen different cycles happen in crypto, where you have the explosion of tokens on Ethereum, way back in the day. Then you had the explosion of DeFi, that kind of DeFi 1.0 movement. And then you had, NFTs and DeFi 2.0, and you've seen a lot of different things come and go. And then Solana with the meme coin explosion. So I think that THORChain is at this really interesting position where it has this innovation layer that has never been there before, but it's brand new, and it's literally being released on Thursday. So we're sitting here right now, kind of like on the precipice, in my opinion. And Mitch and I we're talking pre-show about how I've moved, I would say the vast majority of my portfolio to THORChain. A very material percentage of it. It's well over, like at a point recently it became half. And then now it's well over that. So it is the vast majority of what I have is now in the, pretty much all the chips. I mean, Mitch was like, "Oh, so you shoved the chips in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's an understatement. I've shoved all the chips in on THORChain." And
I love it.